Wow. Okay. Well, you saw a little bit of that. Very different exercises. Actual resistance-based training. So I'm at 12 weeks, so I can start doing resistance-based training, which is way cool. I have to go get a Planet Fitness membership. I need to be there 3 days a week. So they actually said this to me, Miles, you can take the day off tomorrow. What? So I rode a bike today, as you saw. Did some leg presses, which is way cool. And then tried to do a step tap, which I'll show you in just a little bit. I'll show you. I actually have to do it at Planet Fitness. But oddly enough, I've been doing them for weeks anyways. And it's still not cool. But, and I think I know why. So I'll explain, I'll pick that up I'll pick you up in just a little bit. Lord, that's what's difficult. Story time! Today's story time deals with U.S. immigration and U.K. immigration. This story happened about 8 years ago. I used to think that getting back into the United States was an insanely difficult process because of my one name. Nope, I would fly back into the United States, fly into JFK, and they'd literally climb up my ass for 45 minutes and ask me, where are you going? Where do you live? What do you do for a living? And I'm like, I'm a U.S. citizen. That did not seem to matter to them in any way, shape, or form. So, anyways, I'm flying. I got this gig while I was teaching in Germany with this client living somewhere near Southampton in the UK. So I fly from Germany to Southampton, and he agrees to pick me up in Southampton. And I got off the plane, and they quite literally grilled me for 2.5 hours to see whether or not I was planning on staying in the UK. And that was clearly not the case. So, they even brought him in and questioned him and then questioned me again, yada, yada, yada. And they finally relented and let me in after 2.5 hours. And they almost didn't let me back in. So, I did my gig and had a great time, met some great people. And then it was time for me to go. So I pack up my stuff and I instead of flying, I decide to take the train from London to Paris and then from Paris back to Germany. So I get on the train at Southampton, get into, London and St. Pancras Station. And on the opposite side of the tunnel from the London side is an immigration booth. And you absolutely have to do this. So when you get to that station on the opposite side, there's about a 50-yard station or a 50-yard walk between the UK side of the immigration transition and the Parisian side or the UK or the EU side. So I figured, they're gonna let me back in because I was just here, and yeah, that's not what happened. What happened was I got to the UK booth and I figured they'd let me go because they didn't want me there to begin with. So I got up to the booth. And this is where things go right off the rails. Boy, did they ever. So I hand the guy my passport, and he looks at me, looks at the passport, and says, where are you going? I said, to the EU. And I think that I'm being straight and direct. And he, again, for some reason, these, when they ask these stupid fucking questions, these inane, stupid fucking questions, they think that I'm, being a smart ass. And I'm looking at like this is a stupid question. I'm going to the EU, and you folks don't want me here anyways. So, this is, what are you doing? I said, going back to Germany so that I can fly to the United States. And he says, where have you been? I said, Southampton. He says, how long you were there? I said, a month and a half. And he looks at my passport and sees the stamp. And then 2 or 3 minutes goes by and he says, step aside, I'll be with you in a moment. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, now what? So I step aside, and then another agent comes along, says, are you Mr. Miles? And I said, yes. And he says, follow me. And I follow him, and I go sit in a little booth, a little room for 20 minutes. And then the same guy that questioned me comes back in, and he starts grilling me, where have I been, what I've been doing, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, I'm leaving the UK. It's not like I'm staying. I don't get what the problem is here. So I'm trying really hard not to lose my shit. And he says, is there a problem? I said, yeah, there's a problem. I'm leaving the UK. It's not like I'm coming in to stay. I'm leaving. Is there a problem? He says, well, not everything is in order. I said, what's not everything to be in order? I stayed here, I was here, and now I'm leaving. What's the problem? He says, well, now I need to speak to my supervisor. Okay. So 10 minutes goes by, 20 minutes, an hour, and I'm still sitting there. And then he comes back in, and he says, you need to give me your phone. Why? He says, because we need to check your phone. You need to unlock it and give me your phone. Like, I'm not giving you my phone. There's sensitive data on there. He's like, well, if you don't give me your phone, you're not leaving. I hand him I unlock it. I hand him my phone. I said, am I going to get my phone back? He says, yeah, maybe. He disappears for like 2 or 3 hours. And I've now missed my train, my connecting train. And Lord knows if I'm ever going to leave the UK at this point. So he comes back into the room with my phone and then sits down. And then, sits down and starts grilling me the same questions again. I'm like, did you think the answers were going to change in the last 2 hours? Same questions over and over and over again. Then his supervisor comes in and they start, peppering me with questions. So I'm like, am I being held for something? Did I do something? Well, there's some irregularities here. Again, what is so irregular? And they won't tell me. This goes on for another 45 minutes. And finally, the guy, the original guy, he leaves. The supervisor's still standing there. And he's filling out some paperwork. He says, well, we're going to have to hold you here for a little while. I said, how long's a little while? Till we're done. Till we're sure. I said, what exactly are we looking for? And he doesn't tell me anything. It's like, I can't call anybody. I can't see anybody. What is the problem? Well, I think that I'm going to get a straight answer out of him. Not. So I'll be back. 1 hour goes by, 2 hours goes by, 4 hours goes by. And finally he comes back in. He sits down and he says, well, you can go now. I get my bag. And he walks me to the UK booth. He stamps my passport and then sends me on my way. And I'm thinking, I'm all done here. Nope. I get to the EU side, the booth just like 2 steps before the EU side, and the same guy comes up and taps me on the shoulder, and he says to me, there are some irregularities here. You're going to have to come back. I'm like, you've already stamped my passport. I can leave. Yeah, well, we're going to rescind that. So I'm just beside myself. So I follow him back, and I sit in the little room for another 4.5 hours, grilling me with the same stupid fucking questions. Finally, same supervisor comes in, sits down, says, you can go now. I said, really? Can I go this time? He's like, yeah, you're all good. So they re-stamp my passport, and I get all the way through the EU side, and that was that. That was one of the most ridiculously harrowing experiences of immigration. I used to think that, flying back in the United States was a pain in the ass. Nope. Nope. The UK takes the cake every single time. They climbed up my ass for nearly 12 and a half hours for absolutely no reason. And never told me what the irregularities were. Like, what the fuck is this about? Anyways, doesn't matter. All right. Alrighty, kitties. That is enough yapping from me today. Thanks a bunch for listening. Thanks a bunch for watching. Thank you very much for your donations. They've helped greatly. They put food in the car, food in my stomach, gas in the tank, and a few nights at an Airbnb, and that's way cool. That's called showers, kitties, because I desperately need one. And now that I have a Planet Fitness subscription or membership, I can go take a shower every single day if I want to. Way cool. All right. That's enough yapping for me today. Thanks a bunch, and I look forward to seeing you. My knee just collapsed. And I look forward to seeing you in the next Daily Miles. Bye.